Hey, what's up guys? It's Mira here and thank you for joining me on today's video. So today is going to be very raw, very uncut. I'm going to talk to you about my main takeaways of the year of 2019 and the biggest mistakes that I did and the biggest, in hindsight, the things that I learned most from. And if I had knew them before I walked into the year, I would have made much more money and I would have been much more successful with my companies. Overall, it would just have been better, right? So my goal for today's video is to give you my main takeaways of the year of 2019 so that you can walk into 2020, have them in your back pocket and make much more faster progress. So, and these are general things that's going to help you if you are into online marketing, if you have a business selling a product or service online, maybe you're an agency owner or you are running your own something. Okay, so I don't want to drag it out. Let's get into it. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube video, to my YouTube channel, and make sure to leave a thumbs up on the video. So there are four things I want to talk to you about today. My four biggest takeaways of the year, and the first one is actually be getting help sooner than you think you need help. All right, that was like one of the most important things I realized in like September. I had worked on a project for like 8 months and I didn't think I needed help. I was like, I can do it myself. Let's save some money. Why should I pay somebody, tens of thousands of dollars? And it just I ended up have lost $10,000 or like $20,000, and I had lost 8 months of time because I didn't get help early enough. So one of the biggest takeaways of 2019 for me was if I would have gotten help earlier, I would have probably have made $1 million this year. 100%. Okay. I like my business, the project I had worked on would have been at 7 figures. Now I'm not too stressed about that because I know I'm gonna hit it in 2020. But get help like whenever you feel like, oh, I can do this myself, don't. Like seriously, go and locate the smartest person in the industry and ask them for help and let them help you. It's one of the most powerful things. Go find somebody smarter than you and get help from them. It doesn't matter if you need help with Facebook ads, if you need help with sales, or if you need help with organic sales or lead generation, anything, whatever you want to advance in, and you know that one thing is very crucial to the progress of your business and your income and to hit your goals, don't try to solve it yourself. Don't sit on YouTube for hours and Google and try to figure everything out yourself. Don't be stupid, all right? Just go and find the smartest person, right? This is the smartest person. This is you, and ask for help. Pay them Pay them for their help. I don't care if it costs you $2,000, $5,000, $8,000, $10,000. It's gonna be worth it. Okay, it's gonna be worth it. So that's the first takeaway of the year. Go and ask for help earlier. If you think you are lagging in sales or lagging in Facebook ads, or every time you try to scale your ads, they just drop like a hot, disappointing potato, go and ask for help. All right, don't waste time, don't waste money. Go to what works immediately. All right, that's the first main takeaway. I wasted 7 months and roughly 8 months of time trying to figure something out myself. The minute I got help from an expert, I made like almost 30 grand that month. The minute I asked for help from an expert. And before that, I had lost 20 grand because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. And it's okay, you don't need to be embarrassed, all right? Get help fast, get help now. I want you to walk into 2020 with some real smart fucking people behind you that can guide you and help you hit your goals. First takeaway. Second one is build a minimal viable product. So a minimal viable product is basically, so there is a law called Parkinson's Law. And Parkinson's Law states, if you only had 1 day to build a skyscraper, what would you do? Of course, you wouldn't sit there and try to design the kinds of doors you would have in the entrance, right? Or how you should make it look exclusive by picking, panel floors. That's not what you would do. You would go and locate some, architects as soon as possible and some engineers and like fucking build it, right? You wouldn't sit there and plan for 2 freaking months trying to build that building if you only had 1 day. And a minimal viable product is whatever, I don't care if you want to start an agency or if you want to become a marketer or if you want to sell a course, or if you want to start a SaaS company, whatever you're trying to start, don't go and lock yourself in a chamber for 3 months or a year trying to build this thing, and then go out to the market and be like, all right guys, I'm done, who wants to buy this? And nobody buys. So a minimal viable product means that you build a beta of whatever you're trying to sell, and then you sell that beta, right? Or sometimes you don't even need to build it, right? You just go to people and you're like, hey, I'm gonna build a product or a SaaS or a software or this company, and would you buy it? You could even sell it without having to build it. And then once they buy and you have proof of concept, then you can build it. I see so many people, and I did this mistake as well, when I created my program, Next Generation Marketing, I focused on building like the complete program as the step one, which is completely wrong, because then when I went to the market, I realized I had built something that the market didn't necessarily need. Now, the program is still a huge success because I kind of had a bit of luck in there. But the main takeaway here is that don't go and design a logo, a fancy website, or create the whole course before you're gonna sell it. Or don't do all of that stuff. Build a minimal viable product and sell it to people before have built it. Or if you still want to build it, build a minimal product, like a beta, right? Build a beta and then sell it. Don't go and build something that's fully finished and then go and sell it, because chances that your guesses, sorry about that, chances that your guesses on what the market wants, chances that that's right is very unlikely. So you're probably going to create something that the market doesn't want, and you're going to lose a lot of money and a lot of time. So whatever you want to build or sell, go and sell it to people, and then think about building the complete product. So if you want to sell a course, don't go and create a course and then sell it. Sell it to people, sell the idea to people, collect the cash, and then go and build it. Or build a small little beta that's going to take you like a day or two to create, and go and sell that. And as soon as you've gotten people that have paid for it and you have so-called proof of concept, then you can actually go and create the product or the software or whatever. Because this is going to save you. Because the last thing you want to do is to go and build something very expensive or something that's very time consuming, and then when you sell it, nobody wants to buy it. Because remember, it doesn't matter what you think is the right thing or what you think the market wants or need. The market is the grim reaper, right? The market, aka people, is going to decide if your business is going to be successful. So don't try to guess. Build something small, or don't even build it and sell it to people. And if they want it, then you have proof of concept. You know that the market likes it, and then it will be easier to make money. I did the mistake of locking myself and then in my office, and I spent 3 months building something, and it was a success. But I could have made so much more money and have had a better product if I were to have sell a lot of it first, or build a beta and then collect feedback and be like, okay, what do I need to iterate? What do I need to change? What do people don't like? What does the market want? I just started the other way around, and that slowed me down. That's the second thing. The third thing is paid versus organic acquisition methods. Like, should I use paid traffic and Facebook ads to get customers, or should I use organic, right? And the mistake I did earlier this year was, of course, guys, you know that I'm a digital marketer. I'm a Facebook ads guy. Like, I'm a freaking beast at Facebook ads. I feel confident, bragging about that and saying that I'm a beast, because I know I'm a beast, right? I have the case studies. I know I'm a beast. And because I was good at Facebook ads, I was like, hey, let's neglect organic, reaching out to people via Messenger, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and let's just focus on selling via paid traffic, right? And that was wrong, because while I was trying to figure out paid traffic earlier this year, I had neglected organic. And once I started selling organic, I just made so much freaking money. So never just go with paid traffic only, relying on ads to get customers, and never only relying on organic to get customers, okay? But in my instance, the thing I did wrong was, I'm trying to build a business, I'm trying to build something whatever, like if you're an agency owner or if you are a course seller, info product, a coach, SaaS, whatever, if you're using paid traffic to attract clients like I was, because I was good at paid traffic, that was my natural instinct. Don't neglect organic, because while my paid traffic was, guys, paid traffic is volatile. 1 week you're doing good, the other week you can do bad, and then like it's like the stock market. It goes up and down, up and down, up and down. It doesn't matter how good you are, right? I've been running ads for almost 4 years. And even though it's still going to be up and down. And while my ads were up and down, I wasn't doing organic and I wasn't making extra money. But as soon as I started doing organic, and with organic I mean adding people on LinkedIn that is within my target audience, reaching out to people on Facebook Messenger, like, right, being in Facebook groups where my target audience hangs around, and I add them on Facebook and I reach out to them. Like, I made so much more money with this because it was like an amplifier. Like, it amplified whatever I did with my ads. It amplified it, right? So while my ads was, no matter if my ads were doing good or if they were doing bad, I had organic making me money. And organic is like, it costs nothing to do and get organic sales. So it's a pure profit. So it was almost like getting free ad spend, right? Like, I didn't pay for my ad spend because I was making free money from the organic. So really, I just lost so much money by neglecting organic earlier this year and only focusing on paid Facebook ads. And if you're an e-com, for example, organic would be to build your Instagram, build your Facebook, focus on email marketing. Like, those things are so important. And if you are some kind of, consultant, coach, or marketer, focus on, whatever you're selling with paid. Like, realize that you can actually sell that organically as well. And organic is just such a nice revenue boost. And I neglected it for too long, and now like I'm focusing a lot on organic, right? It's December. I've kind of paused some of our ads, and I'm doing a lot of organic because, like, guys, ads 1 month they go up and 1 month they go down. But organic, like, you can actually control your output. You're not dependent on Facebook and the algorithms and changes. You can actually control how much money you're making by reaching out to people. And it's, if your paid ads die, which all our accounts and all our audiences can get fatigued. We can reach ad fatigue. We can reach audience fatigue. When that happens, you don't want to be sitting there like a lame duck, not having any revenue streams. If Facebook goes down for 24 hours, you don't want to stop making money. And that's why organic is like, it's like having a foundation. Like, no matter what happens with your paid, you're still gonna make money. Because November, we had a great month in November with ads. And that was before I started realizing how important organic is. And in December, our ads just fucking crashed, which happens sometimes. And I was just sitting there like a lame duck and be like, oh my God, like, we're not making any money right now. And that made me realize, oh shit, like, I can't just be dependent on ads. I actually need to figure out organic. And what I did was, based on the first principle I told you, I went and hired a guy that is a fucking king on organic. And he's gonna help me dial in organic, and that's what we're doing right now. So whatever you're doing, if you're only doing organic, do ads, and if you're only doing ads, do organic. Okay, very, very important. It's like a revenue boost, and they complement each other. Last topic of the day. What does this mean? Be fluid about your method, but be stubborn about your outcome. All right, I see a lot of people, they're very stubborn on their method, which means that, let's say they wanna hit 50K a month, and they have written this plan and this goal of like, okay, this is what I need to do to hit 50K a month, and they're just like attached to that. They're not willing to change they're not willing to adapt. And you need to be fluid about your method, and this is a representation of fluid, and this is stubborn. You need to be very fluid about your method, but you need to be stubborn about your goal. So don't be stubborn about how you're gonna reach your goal. Bruce Lee has a very famous saying where he says, you put water in a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water in a bottle, it becomes the bottle. So be fluid about your method, but stubborn about your outcome. earlier this year in January 2019, when I sat there and I wrote my goals for the year, I had a totally different perception of how this year is gonna go and how I'm gonna reach my goals. Now, I reached my goals, but it was in the complete opposite way. And the only reason that is because I was willing to be fluid about my method, right? Like I was like kind of like a wave, right? Whatever life threw at me, whatever curveball I got, I was like I ducked it and I was like, okay, let's adapt, let's do this, let's do that. And I see a lot of people, they're too like stubborn about their method. No, be stubborn about your outcome, but be willing to adapt about your method. So I'm gonna give you a practical example. When I started this year, I thought that like an automated webinar is gonna be one of our main acquisition components, like a main system to generate sales. And I was very attached to like the automated 2-hour webinar. I spent so much time and money trying to figure that out. I worked with some industry leaders. Like you don't even want to know the things I did to figure that out. Now, I thought that's going to be the thing that's going to take me to 7 figures, but it wasn't, right? It was a completely different funnel that went against everything everything I knew about this thing and this method and marketing. And it was just like kind of unorthodox for me. And I was like, what? Like, is that the thing that's going to take me to where I want to be and take my company to that next level? And it was the opposite. And I remember like in that moment, it was like getting a cold shower. I was like, oh shit, like I've been focusing on the wrong thing for almost 7 months. And I was fluid about my method. Immediately I realized, fuck it, I need to change, right? I can't do, let's say this is the webinar, right? The first one that I thought is gonna take me to my goals. And I was like, fuck it, I need to change. So I was like, okay, let's become fluid and let's change the method. I changed the method and I did so much freaking better. But I just want to connect everything together. And do you know how I knew how to change my method? Which way was the right method? It was actually by starting to work with an expert. And that expert that was smarter than me made me realize, Miro, you're focusing on the wrong thing, the wrong vehicle. And that made me realize. So you see how everything ties together? But for number 4, guys, realize that life is going to throw curveballs, and the way you think you're going to achieve your goals is not the way you're going to achieve your goals. Very, very unlikely that that's the way. So you need to be okay with that, and you need to realize that. So all in all, guys, that's it for today's video. I just want to recap. Number 1, guys, walking into 2020, make sure to hire an expert. Don't try to figure things out yourself. Don't try to watch 1,000 YouTube videos. Go and pay someone that knows the thing you want to do, and you'll make much more money or have much more success. Number 2, build an MVP. If you're trying to build a new service, new product, new anything, don't go and build the whole thing and then sell it. Go in the market, build a beta or build nothing and sell it. And if people like it, then you go and build the whole thing, right? And number 3, paid versus organic. Do both of them. Don't do paid only. That's gonna fuck you up when Facebook, starts to, like CBO, right? Like CBO is something a lot of people struggle with. If CBO comes, or if it's December and CPM rises, you're gonna be fucked if you're only relying on paid. Do organic as well. That's a very nice revenue boost. LinkedIn, Facebook Messenger, Instagram DMs, email marketing. Complement it with organic. And lastly, be fluid about your method, but be stubborn about your outcome. The way you think you're going to achieve your goals is not the way you're going to achieve your goals. There's going to be another way that you don't see right now, but the only way you could see it is if you're fluid and you're open to changes. But you're not open to changes on this. You're relentless about this, all right? You're like, you'd kill for this, okay? So you never compromise this. This is your goal. And that's my main takeaways of the year of 2019. The biggest things that I took with me this year, and it's gonna help me crush 2020. So I want you to walk into 2020 with me with these in your arsenal, ready to crush it. That's about it. Let me know what you thought about today's YouTube video in the comment section. If you really enjoyed it, please leave a thumbs up and also subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'm gonna be having a lot of good stuff coming your way. And that's about it, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Very raw, very uncut video. Let me know if you enjoyed this style of the video with the whiteboard or if you didn't like it. And that's about it for today. Over and out. I'll see you soon.